Today, our friend Ash joins us for a story. Hey guys, I'm Leila. Welcome, and today we have our friend Ash join us for a story. Ash, thank you so much for coming on by.
LeilaFox, the pleasure is all mine. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. So guys, today we are going to be talking about the brand new champions, Yumeko and Karato Foxhunter. Now, I think everybody can agree, Yumeko, she looks insane. She's insane. What do you think about her?
Dude, I can't say the best champion this year because it's only a month in or so, a month and a half in, but she looks really, really good. I hope they do. I was gonna say I hope they do a 10x because then I would really just degen into the shard pulls. But 10x doesn't even mean anything anymore. Like it's no guarantee to get a champion, right? So I don't know. Either way, though, they both look fantastic in terms of abilities. Especially Yumeko looks insane, don't you think?
Oh my god, it's crazy. It's crazy. You know, like you and I were talking off stream about it really is like Warlord and Kaimar, just like, I don't know, they went to adoption agency, got a little baby fox, and then, you know, there's their A3. Like it's just the craziest thing I think I've seen.
Yeah, do you generally like when they add like ultra powerful champions to the game? Do you think it power creeps, or are you totally cool with it and they're like, it's new, compelling, exciting, so you're all for it?
So I think what everybody knows is I come from Blizzard Entertainment, and they're notorious for things like that. They are notorious for dropping in things that are absolutely OP that everybody complains about, and then they nerf them months later. You know what I mean? Like they do it for like the money thing. They do it so everybody plays, and then things get back to normal later. So, I mean, we don't know what'll happen with her. I know, like, today, for example, people were hoping they wouldn't nerf her, but I don't know. We'll see what player
I don't
does.
want them. I answering my own question rudely as a guest on your channel. I would not want. I love it. I love powerful champions. Like as long as they're not, you know, absolutely game breaking or a nuisance in the arena. Give us better champions over time. I actually like the whole concept of power creep as long as it's not done all at once, you know? So maybe I'm in the minority opinion there, but, you know, you need to have exciting new champions being added to the game 3+ years into the game. So I like champions like Yumeko. They excite me more than some crappy void, you know, that that they're adding to the game. So I like these champions.
I like it too because, again, it keeps the game from being stagnant. Like, it can help change the meta. It can make it fun again, you know, because you see how many people kind of get frustrated because they're just not having fun with the game anymore. So it's fun having something new in that you can play with. And yeah, like you're saying, like, it's okay because it does kind of mess around the power creep a little bit, but that's all right. Like, I'm okay with that. And making it different. And you actually have to think and then try something different than what you're used to.
Yeah, as long as they're adding like more accessible champions as well, like they have been with like, you know, Syl 2 years ago and Ninja last year, you know, as long as they're adding accessible champions as well, I'm totally cool with it. So yeah, we're on the same page.
Absolutely agreed. So guys, what we're going to do today is we're actually going to read the lore story for Yumeko and Karato Foxhunter, because how does she end up with someone with the last name Foxhunter? We're going to get into that lore story right now. Since times immemorable, fox spirits were honored in the Dawnlands as bringers of good fortune and the messengers of heaven. Though mischievous by nature, they were benevolent to mortals, and never was their quarrel dire enough to inspire bloodshed. Alas, things changed when demon spawn armies conquered the yokai. These new masters were driven by hatred of everything pure and kind, and they sought to exterminate the spirits of the land to extinguish its very soul.
Like so many yokai children, Karacho had been torn from his family and raised as a murderer under the watchful eye of cruel tutors. But where most of those unfortunates were destined to become foot soldiers and raiders, the boys showed a knack for another kind of craft: hunting. And there was never a lack of prey in the demon-ruled Dawnlands. Fugitives and rebels of all kinds were a threat to Soroth's will, and not all of them could be defeated by force alone. That is why men and women like Karacho were taught to stalk such dangerous targets, then a single, decisive stroke.
Karato excelled at that fearsome art. Though his masters were concerned about the lack of cruelty they tried to cultivate in all their servants, the hunter's skill was beyond reproach. In time, Karato's talents were brought to bear against the fox spirits that still dwelt in the ravaged kingdom. Many of those benign creatures fell to his bow and blade. Yet, it was the moment Karato's destiny turned towards the thorny path of redemption.
The last order he ever carried out was to hunt Yumeko, one of the oldest kitsunes still at large in the Dawnlands. Cunning she was, and fair as a cold winter's morn. Few of those who sought her head returned alive to tell the tale, and thus the task fell to Karato at last. For weeks he followed Sly Yumeko's trail, and she always eluded him, in the end with naught but parchments of scathing rhyme left behind, or a glimpse that lasted just long enough to taunt her pursuer. But Karato was a clever man. He joined the game which the fox had begun, and soon enough, a strange sense of kinship blossomed amid the lethal dance.
And so it was at the turning of the third moon that Karato finally caught up with his prey. Yet he found himself unable to notch an arrow, even though he knew there would never be another chance to prevail. Heartbroken, he sunk to his knees and wept in Yumeko's arms as he realized what evil he had wrought at the behest of demons. But all was not lost. Yumeko embraced her would-be slayer and told him of the good she saw in his heart. With her help, Karato would leave the path of darkness that had been laid out before him and take control of his fate.
Together, they fled to join the rebellion that had long been growing in the kingdom of Yakai. When the time came, they fell upon Karato's former masters like a furious storm and brought justice for all the lives those villains had broken. From there on, the fox and the hunter would never again separate from one another.
Alright guys, so that was the lore story for Yumeko and Karato, and I gotta say, I like it. I think they had a lot of fun with Yumeko, make her like this cool spirit fox, like mythical creature. What do you think, Ash? What do you think of the story?
Yeah, I like it because it's so easy just to make like, they fell in love and then they did some awesome things together. But I like that he was meant to kill her first, you know? It's a really cool kind of twist to the narrative, and I think they did well with this story.
I think they did too, and to your point, like how he was meant to kill her, what I like about this too is obviously we see him as a hunter, like we see his design. His name is Foxhunter, right? Like that's what he was forced to do. And I say forced because again in the story they talk about how the demon spawn pretty much kind of like they made him do that, right? Like they turn him into a weapon.
I feel like they do that a lot, don't they? You would know better than I, but don't they like, okay, we want this champion to be a good guy or a good, whatever. And then they just make up some kidnapping when they're a baby story by the bad guys,
Well, it also kind of gives it gives like a redemption arc, right? And the thing about this too is I did do a lore story on the Shadowkin like faction, and basically what ended up happening to them is the demon spawn had taken over them, is really what it was. And then they rose up to fight against the demon spawn and kind of pretty much like try to reclaim their heritage. So it's still kind of, it fits in some ways where they still add in how here's the demon spawn doing this to these people and sending them to hunt what is good and what is pure, and then hunting, Yumeko and her kind. They're supposed to be these like spirit creatures, right?
He does look kind of like the hunter, and she does look like the cunning spirit fox or whatever. They're really good champions, and they're also, I think in terms of companion champions, they're up there for me.
Yeah, I agree. And actually, that's what I was going to talk about too, is like, I know we always talk about their abilities, but what's really cool, because I had a chance to test these guys out, is like Karato's A2. What I love about that is when he kills an enemy, he keeps going, right? So I've had these two running where that's pretty much like a hunter. Like he just murders like everything in the way and just keeps going and going and going as long as she's on the team together, which fits, again, what he is. He was made to be a hunter, right? So that's really neat. I like they did that.
Yeah, me too. I think that overall the story is pretty good. It's no Syl the Drake story, of course, Leila, but it's pretty
Never
good.
Gonna get one like
do you
that
feel?
again.
I have to ask. Do you feel a kinship to the fox, being a fox yourself?
Well, I cannot confirm nor deny the fact that they may or may not have made her like me. I cannot say so, guys.
Okay.
I can't.
Okay.
However, we will be cosplaying her as the end of this month, though, so you guys can look for that.
Wow. Be exciting stuff.
Looking forward to that.
I think you make a good Yumeko.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, like I said, if she is or may not or could possibly be shaped by me, I think that makes sense.
It's pretty cool how Plarium turned you into champion. You got it before I did. Pretty cool.
No, you have Ashwalker.
I don't think that's me.
Don't.
I don't think Karato is me, though. That's certainly
you
not.
You have Ashwalker.
Yes, I do.
Actually, you know what's funny with Karato, though, for you guys watching is, I talk about this all the time. I'm a fan of Wheel of Time. He reminds me of Lan. Lan's my favorite character in Wheel of Time. And when I saw him, I was like, this dude's Lan. Because, sometimes Raid gets inspiration from entertainment, from like media and stuff. And that was like the first thing that came to my head is I was like, somebody is watching Amazon and they're making him look like the dude in Wheel of Time.
I haven't seen, as you know, I have not seen it yet, so I can't speak to it. But it's he does look familiar, though oddly familiar. Unlike other champions, it's like, wait, do I know that guy?
Yep.
But either way, I like the lore story. I like the champions, so 2 thumbs
Agreed.
up here from me.
Agreed. And guys, thank you so much for watching. I would love to know, what do you guys think? Do you enjoy the story? What do you guys think of these champs? And if perchance, because I do know like these fox spirit kitsunes, they do have some deep lore in Japanese culture. Like if any of you guys are more educated in that than we are, please leave me some comments down below and educate me, because I would love to learn more about that. Especially because we know she's got 4 tails, so she's supposed to be like a 9-tailed spirit. Like I would love to know. If you guys know more than me, please do, because I'm gonna read all the comments as I always do. And Ash, thank you so much for joining me for the story.
Always a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, and can't wait to hopefully get my hands on these champions. We'll see.
I think she's gonna be hard to get. She's a void.
I think so.
Oh boy.
I think so.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Another awesome void legendary. Yay.
I know. Thank you so much. Bye.
All right.
Hey, if you enjoyed this video, check out some more videos up here in the playlist on the top right.